One pink wheel here. We got a 2013 Honda Fit. We've got a stuck brake caliper. We're going to place the brake caliper on the front. Okay, so let's see what we got here. This is the new caliper. It's going to go on like that, where the old one is. It's held on by two bolts here, and then the brake line plugs in right there. So if we remove that brake line, once we remove the old brake line right there, it's going to start leaking out brake fluid. So if we can remove that last and then try to hook it into the new one, the new caliper, fairly quickly, we won't lose too much brake fluid, and it'll make bleeding the brakes easier. So here's the bolts we need to take out. One there, and then there's one on the bottom. That is a 17 millimeter socket, and then this is a 14 millimeter socket. And then I'm not sure what the bleeder valve is. That's smaller. We'll have to bleed that. We'll also have to put brake shoes in here. If your brake shoes are still good, you can reuse them. I'm just going to go ahead and replace mine since I got about 70,000 miles on these front brake pads or so anyways. Okay, now something you should do, especially if you've had a stuck rotor, is to measure your thickness of your brake disc. The minimum thickness is 19 millimeters for these cars. So you need a special tool like this to measure the thickness. And what you want to do, you want to position the quarters. You don't want to just measure with this, because there could be a little bit of a lip because of this side where this is going to wear down, but this actual edge is not going to wear down. So you want to get a couple quarters like this on your tool, and then just zero that out. And then what I want to do is there we go. And I get can't see it, but I'm getting 20. Which is plenty of space. Now, we got to put the new brake pads in. So what we're going to want to do is loosen this. We don't need to take it all the way out. And then we need to take this, the lower one, all the way out. And what's going to happen is then we can swing this up and put the brake pads inside. And hopefully, we're also going to need some brake parts lubricant to lube the guide pins and the edges of the brake pad. So here's how the brake pads are going to go in here. They're going to go in like this. This piece should be on the inside. We're going to want to put brake grease on both sides of this to keep it from, that'll help keep it from squealing. Be careful not to get any dirt or especially lubricant or anything on the actual pads here. For this new caliper, these are 14 millimeter. For my old one, they're smaller. I think they're 13s. Okay, so here's what might be a little bit tricky. We need to grease here, here, and up top also, so that this slides back a little bit easier. We're also going to want to grease here, but the tricky part is we're going to put these brake shoes in like this. And then we need to have the springs. You see there's holes right here and here, and yeah. And then on the bottom also. So that pushes us out, but we have to keep them clamped in so that we can bring the top part down. So that gets to be a little bit tricky. Let's see how it goes. Okay, now we got to bleed the brakes. So what we want to do is take this off. We want to top the brake fluid reservoir off because we're going to pump some out. So we're going to we don't want this to go all the way down, because if that goes all the way down, then bleeding the brakes is going to be way more difficult. I'm just going to bleed the one side because that's the only, there should only be air on this side. So basically what we have to do is take this dust cap off. We'll use a wrench to loosen this bleeder screw, and then the fluid will come out. But the best way to do this is get a clear vinyl tube, push it over that, and then we can empty it into the bottle. And that way, we're going to need a partner also to pump the brakes while we do this. That way, we can see when there's no bubbles left, and we're all done. Couple of squeezes. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead and push it in. Keep pumping. One long push and then hold. Check the reservoir. You can let go. Okay, now start pumping. One more long pump and hold. Okay, let go, and then push down on the brakes. How do they feel? Okay, good. All right, all done.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Once you got no bubbles coming out, make sure that, and while you're doing it, make sure that this doesn't go all the way down. Mine came down pretty low, and then top it off when you're done.